Hi, my name is Pip Coombs. This is my debut novel, The Hunted, which is the first book of the Phoenix series. And what I thought I would do is take you guys through the process of taking your work in progress manuscript through the process of getting it ready for publishing. So book number 2 in the Phoenix series is currently at the editor. He has said that he needs a couple more days to just finish off the line edit, and then I will be getting it back. So this is the second round of professional editing that this book has gone through, and then I need to go through and have a look at the changes that he's done and take on board what I want to change or want to cut based on his recommendations, and then go through everything again with a fine-tooth comb. And then from there we see where we're up to and how much more needs to be done before this book is ready for publishing. So in terms of now taking my work in progress manuscript as it is, which is post-final line edit, through the process and getting it ready to publish, what I now do is I'm going to print it off and go through it. I find it much easier to see errors on a printed page than staring at a computer screen. And I'm quite sure that there are errors in it still, because what I do is I put the manuscript that I received with all its edited changes beside my manuscript, and I transfer the changes I agree with across onto my manuscript. So it takes time, but also, like, you never get it perfect, so you need to at least read through it at least one more time. So then once I've read through that and marked up any changes that need to be made, I will make them. And then I actually have some readers who read through it and pick up any final issues. If I am lucky and life is going well, I might be able to save up enough money to have a final editor professionally go through it all, like a proofread. But that is unlikely because we are getting to the pointy end of the year, so it's almost Christmas, and I just feel like at this time of year you always struggle a little bit more financially, and there's always things that you need to do, and it's just a busy time of year. And also it's very expensive to have a cover made professionally and to have professional edits. So this is one of the ways that I try and make sure it's as good as possible. Then what I'll do is put it away for a little while and then read through it again with fresher eyes before I publish. So when I repeatedly say everything takes longer than you think it will in terms of taking your manuscript through the process and getting it ready to publish, I really mean it, because this manuscript was ready for its initial professional edit around January, February, and it's now the very end of October. So to properly give things time to be edited well, and that includes sometimes, you know, budgeting and putting aside money, and that can't necessarily happen as quickly as you would like it to happen. It just takes forever for these things to happen, and people go on holidays, you go on holidays, work happens, life happens. So you need to make sure that you have in your schedule accounted for enough time to go through the editing process and have wiggle room and room for life to get in the way. So I tend not to announce my publishing date until much closer to the time, because I know that this is an issue that it takes so much longer than I always anticipate it will. So if I had announced that I was publishing in August or even September, well, I'm behind. So you need to allow wiggle room is all I'm saying. And unless you have significant financial resources, I just don't know how people get their cover art done and all their editing done and all their writing done and build their author platform and prep to publish and market the build up for the publishing and have a full-time job. I just don't know how they do that and release, you know, like 3 books a year or a book every, I heard someone who released 10 books in a year today. I just don't know how that's even possible to do and have it at a good level and have everything well edited and well put together, unless you're a whiz with Photoshop and you can make your own covers, and unless you have really good financial resources to get editors in to come and do most of it for you. I have now had this manuscript for 2 weeks and I am less than halfway through editing it. And there's a very good reason, and it's because life got in the way. And this is what I was saying, when you are preparing your work in progress manuscript and trying to get it ready for publishing, make sure you have room in your schedule for life to get in the way. This week I've been working 10 to 13 hour days because we lost a full-time employee at work right before one of the others went on annual leave, which means I got to do 2 other people's job plus my own plus all the normal admin work. And then Australia caught on fire. And I didn't have to, but they recommended that you evacuate your house if you live in a bush area. And I live in a very, very bushy area. And I have an old dog, and I was going to be at work for a full day. And there was a fire right near my house. And clearly, because I'm in my house, it didn't come here, but it was really close, and I was very glad I evacuated. And I only just brought my dog home yesterday because the fire risk has still been very high, and I still haven't brought all my stuff home. So life is just crazy, and you just don't know what's coming at you, so you have to schedule in time. This has meant that I am definitely taking my foot off the pedal in terms of getting things ready to publish. But what are you supposed to do? Like, there's massive bushfires everywhere. And you just, like, who cares about publishing when shit's on fire? So I'm not abandoning all hopes of getting this book done and published by the end of the year, but I mean, at this point, it's kind of like, why put any extra pressure on myself when there's enough happening anyway? So maybe I'll get it done, maybe I won't. Whatever. So as you guys know, I am taking you through the process of taking your work in progress through the process of getting it ready for publishing. So this is my current state of affairs. I went to upload to Vellum, and it looked a little odd when I uploaded it, and I remembered that I had forgotten to do some formatting stuff, just basic stuff, before uploading it, and that's why it looked a little bit funny. So I went back to do that again, and I thought while I was doing that, I would read through it again and just try and catch last typos. Caught a few, and so then I thought, you know what, I think last time I actually did another read through again from this point, and I'd forgotten that I'd done another read through again. So then what I've done is I have printed it out again, and I will read through it again. And this is the point where I actually go through and try and get out quotes and things that I want to use for promotional purposes. It's the point where I go through and highlight certain areas of the book where maybe it is hinting towards something that I need to connect to in future books, or like just quadruple check the dates and the timing and everything in the book and the seasonal variations, and just make sure I've got everything perfect. And then I'm going to upload to Vellum again. So then it's time to do the interior layout. And then once I've done the interior layout, I'm done. So I have the cover art, I have that ready to go. And then literally all I have to do is upload the files and press print. So really this is the final stages for me. It is the 12th-ish of December. And I mean, I have certainly been slowed down enormously in the last 8 weeks by the things that have been going on. So I've had 2 surgeries. I've been working 6 days a week in the clinic covering for people who were on leave, and we had a staff member leave at a not so fantastic time, which made things harder. I had fires near my house. We've all had fires near everything. New South Wales has been on fire. The bushfires have just been next level. And we've had windstorms that, because we're in drought, like the trees, they just snapped. They just snapped, and they just decimated suburbs, and places had no power for days and days, and that affected us again at work. And so there's just been a lot of stuff going on. So I mean, that's kind of why I'm always hesitant to early announce a publishing date. I did say early on that I hoped to have it done by August, September. But I never committed to a date there, and that's because you don't know what's going to happen, and editing just takes forever. You just have to go through it so many times, especially if you don't have unlimited financial resources. And you really need to consider, like I could pay for another round of editing. It would really hurt to do so and it would be struggle street, but I could do it at a push. It would obviously delay everything again, because with books that are over 100,000 words, they say that they want at least 4 weeks, possibly 5. So it would delay everything again. But you've got to also consider return of investment. So, I mean, realistically, I'm unlikely to get my money back from these books. And I'm fine with that because it's a passion project and I'm doing it because I want to. Obviously, I would like the books to sell. That would be very nice. But at a certain point, you have to just sort of go, look, without breaking the bank, without making my life absurdly hard, like it's time to walk away. And I'm at that point now. And so I'm going to read through this one more time, go through and find everything that I need to find for promotional purposes, and then I'm just going to print it off and have a look and see what it looks like and start taking like promo photos and stuff like that, and you'll see it on Instagram really soon. So my suggestion would be that when you're trying to take your work in progress through the process of getting it ready for publishing, that you allow wiggle room. So like I said, if your book is over 100,000 words, you need to allow 4 to 5 weeks for each phase of editing, and I would generally recommend you have at least 2. So like a developmental edit and then a line edit at least, and so there's 10 weeks gone. And you've got also the time in which it takes you to write it, the times for you to edit it, and you need to edit it multiple times. You need to edit it so many times that you don't think that you could possibly read it again. And then you've got cover design and things like that. You've got to get ISBNs and barcodes and do the formatting and upload it all. And if you are working full time, which I certainly am, it is extremely difficult to do rapid release because of all of those things that really need to happen. And I mean, look, it's up to you. You could skip stages, especially if you're independent publishing. But I mean, ultimately you want your book to be as good as it can be. You don't want typos and things to affect the reader's experience of your story. Otherwise, what was the point in the whole thing? So just be aware that it takes weeks and weeks, and some of that is not necessarily down to your time frame. That can be down to the editor's time frame, because they've got other things going on in their life as well. And rapid release for me is just not conceivable. And like I said, I had this book ready to go, I thought, for editing in January, early February, and we're now in December. So it takes so much longer than you thought it was going to. If you want to do rapid release, my suggestion is that you have multiple books already written, so you're just going through the tightening up phase when you're doing the rapid release, because otherwise either you're going to be spending a lot of money or it's not going to be that rapid. Yeah, so I hope you've found this video series interesting, and I hope that you've found maybe some things that you didn't know, and that it helps you take your work in progress manuscript through the process of getting it published, whether that be via traditional means or via self-publishing means. So if you want to see more of what I do and you want to follow the process that I'm going through as I get ready to publish, don't forget to subscribe to this channel or to check me out on social media. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at @PipCoombs.